Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about this Ajazz AKS068. I will be reviewing this keyboard and let's get into it. So what comes in the box, this is the box. So it's not going to actually come in the box like this, but you get the keycaps and then switches. It won't come in this bag, but these are Ajazz red preloop switches. I'll get into more of those soon. Then you can see in here you get a keycap switch puller and a not so good quality cable. The accessories aren't great, but it's a cheap keyboard, so you get what you get. So let's talk about this layout. This is a 65% Alice Ergo layout. So you get split space bars and then the board's kind of curved in to make a more ergonomic typing experience. The question is, does it actually make you type better or easier? So from my experience using it the past few days, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I type like this very weirdly, and I've actually been using this keyboard to learn how to type more properly, and it's definitely been helping me. So I can't say this will make your typing experience better, but this layout has definitely made it better for me to type, and I've been really enjoying it. In terms of the connectivity, this is the wired version of the keyboard. It does come in a wireless version for about $20 more. This keyboard does support Windows and Mac. It will only come with the Windows keys though. You won't get the Option key and whatever. In terms of some of the features, so we got RGB. Let's just turn that on real quick. So you got the RGB on the sides right here. And then you could also turn on the RGB, which is customizable through the software, which we'll get into later. So you can have one on, both on, or whatever. In terms of other features, we have this knob, which is a little wobbly, but I actually really like this knob. It's metal. It's a very clean knob. Sounds like that if you heard that. In terms of other stuff, so we also have two-stage flippy feet, which is always nice to see, especially on a plastic board. And then we have a gasket mounted PCB. It does feel like it has pretty good flex, so there is a daughter board to give it a better flex. It's a decent gasket mount, nothing special, nothing that special. So in terms of modability, this keyboard, by the way, does come disassembled. You will have to put on the keycaps and switches. As I showed, they come in the box, not on the keyboard. It does come as a kit, so that might turn some people off because they might not know how to assemble a keyboard. But in terms of modability, inside the case, it does come with a layer of foam and silicone, so you don't really need to open the case, but I'm going to show you the issue with that. So this case uses clips to open the case, and you really have to pry it open. So I'm not sure if you can see, but to pry it open, I did have to damage the case a little. This is not, I'm not sure if it's focusing, but this is not the best way to do an input to be able to let people open the case, due to the fact that my keyboard did get a little damage. As I said, you don't really have to open the case. I'll just leave it like that. But I did tape mod it. It does make it sound a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it's not a big deal to tape mod. I would not recommend this if you do want to do lots of mods because of the difficulty to open, unless you just want to deal with having a difficult time opening it and possibly damaging it. So let me show you the stock preloop switches. So this is the Ajazz switch. It's a red switch. I'm not sure what it's called, but it feels pretty similar to a Gateron red switch. It is pre-lubed. It does feel pretty good. If you saw my last video on my last Ajazz board, it came with the same switches, just a non-pre-lubed version. So these sound alright. They sound okay, but they are, I feel like because of the stock keycaps, as you can see, these are not PBT. These are cheap ABS. The switches don't get to sound as fully good as they can, so if you do buy this keyboard, you might want to switch out the keycaps. Once you do a tape mod, the keycaps, or switch to switches, the keycaps don't sound as bad because the sound of the other stuff gets more pronounced, but they're still not the best. so you might not like that. In terms of software, so this board apparently does support VIA. I could not get it working. I was looking on Reddit. I did see some people got it to work, and some people were having the same issues as me. I also emailed EpoMaker about that, and all they did was they just sent me the links to the softwares I already tried, which doesn't work. So yes, it has VIA, but a lot of people are having issues getting it to work. So I would not buy this if you do want to change the software. In terms of the stabilizers, as you can hear them, they are completely stock, no added lube, no mods. These are the best sounding stock stabilizers I've ever tried, even in $230 keyboards. These just sound better. These are amazing stock stabilizers, and they did a really good job with it. So, and yeah, they're just great. In terms of the price, I got mine for under $40 on eBay. If you do have an Amazon Prime subscription, it will cost $40, and you'll get 20% off with free shipping. So if you do have Amazon Prime, go get it on Amazon instead. It is also on AliExpress for a little cheaper. I think about $32 I saw the other day. And I've heard on Temu it's gone for around $60, but I have no proof of that. And I wouldn't recommend using Temu either way, but I just wanted to let you know. So in terms of the board sound profile, it has a pretty deep sound profile. Once I modded it with all the Wuche Palm Plus switches and these Akko caps, it sounds really good. But even stock, I'll give you a sound test soon, it sounds really good. This board just, in terms of sound, is just great. Stabilizers are great. The stock switches are pretty good. And the keycaps aren't great, but you can mod this thing, even without tape mods and whatever, just with different switches and keycaps. This board can sound great, and it is really good for $40. Overall, as I said, I mentioned some issues with it. I mentioned some good things. If you just want a good keyboard to use stock, that you'll have to put the switches together, or something where you can get better switches or keycaps and make it sound better, this is great. The layout might not work for some of you. It might work for some. I think this is a phenomenal keyboard, and probably the best product I've ever tried from Ajazz. I've had some issues with their products in the past. I just think the software is something they need to fix and make it work for everyone, or have it easier to set up. I don't know what the deal is with that. But otherwise, if you don't care about software, you don't care about modding too much, I can totally recommend this keyboard. And if you want this layout, I can totally recommend it. This is a solid option, and I'm just going to leave with a sound test. Thanks for watching, and feel free to sub if you enjoyed the video.